You are about to listen to the Heffron and Reep podcast. When you're done, you can relax and enjoy the rest of your day. And as a reminder, don't forget to stretch and cool down when it's over.
Live from your headphones, it's Heffron and Reep. Stand Up Vault.
Speaking of online, I was at my wife's computer recently, right? And I was playing this game on her computer I like to play called Guess the Password. You guys ever play that? Comes pre-installed on most people's computers. And so I see immediately, right? I'm on her desktop and I see immediately this email that she got. And I saw this email, and first, on a side note, if you want to make $1 trillion, let me just throw this out to the world, and then if you make $1 trillion on it, you have to shoot me some cash. Somebody needs to invent some kind of Bluetoothy thing where as a guy you can be on a website, and to change that website, all you have to do is go, That would be nice, because I swear she sneaks up behind me and I can't get to the mouse quick enough, and she's, what are you clicking out of? You're always clicking out of something every time I walk by. What were you on? And then that way I could go, and then SaveTheWorld.org pops up. Okay, that's a side note, right? So I see this receipt is on my wife's computer, and at first I think my wife went to a hunting store, okay? Hear me out, because I see this receipt, and I see the first thing she bought, right? I see she bought a bullet, which is weird, right? Because I'm like, I'm a gun guy, why would she buy one bullet, and that seems like a pretty pricey caliber bullet, right? Then, underneath that, I see she bought a rabbit, and I'm like, wow. I don't see any cages. Why is she buying a rabbit? Is she gonna try to kill the rabbit with the bullet that she bought? So, for all the men staring at me blankly right now, as you hear pockets full of women laughing, those are names of vibrators, right? Yeah, and underneath that, I see this other thing. I see my wife bought this thing called a penis making kit. Familiar? Are you familiar? No? Right? So, and it's the problem, people, with snooping is this. If you snoop, whatever evidence you find isn't admissible in court. So you run the risk of finding some good stuff, but you can't bring it out. So I had to bring this up to her nonchalantly, at dinner. I'm like, hey, you ever think about making a birdhouse or a penis or anything like that? It's like, oh, did you see the receipt for the penis making kit? I'm like, yeah, what's a penis making kit? And apparently, fellas, it's this mold where they make a mold of the penis, and then afterwards they do with it what they like. Maybe a door stopper, maybe some bookends or something. I don't know. I didn't get technical, right? I'm like, well, you had this thing hidden, so whose penis were you gonna make a mold of? She's like, yours. I'm like, but you had to tell me. What were you gonna do? Get me drunk and I'd wake up with paper mache all over my balls or something like that? You're not making a mold of my penis for several reasons. Here's one of them: not sticking my penis anywhere close to any crazy easy bake oven looking thing. And you're not making a mold of my penis because you like to jib jab, and all your girlfriends are gonna come over, and they're gonna be like, so, how'd the penis turn out? And you're gonna show them. And if I'm not there to defend myself, I would like to be there to go, yeah, yeah, I think she let it cook way too long, don't you?
You enjoy the Heffron and Reep podcast, now go and see them live. It's really super awesome, and here's the reason why. You've seen them on TV, and even in the movies. Yeah, they really are so good, they can even afford this song. Check out the tour dates at heffronandreep.com.
Yes, come see me live, people. You can see me. Let's start with Tampa, Florida. February 7 through the 10th, I'll be at Side Splitters in Tampa, Florida. And then on the 15th of February, you can see me at Holly Springs, North Carolina, the Holly Springs Cultural Center. And then Newton, North Carolina, the next day, the 16th of February, at the Newton Conover Auditorium. Then getting into March, Cartersville, Georgia, not too far from Atlanta, the Grand Theater, one show. Come see me. And then I'm going to be at the Birmingham Stardome Comedy Theater in Alabama, March 8 through 9. And then that's it. John, I think it's your turn.
All right, everybody, I have to say this quick because I just had a 5-hour energy and it's affecting me kind of weird. Let's go with February 14th with this Valentine's Day, son.
Oh, boy.
February 14th through the 17th, I will be at the Toledo Funny Bone. And then on February 21st through the 24th, I'm in Washington, D.C. at the Washington, D.C. Improv. And February 28th, heading into the first weekend of March, I will be at the Pittsburgh Improv. And then later that week, March 14th through the 16th, I will be at Denver Comedy Works. And March 21st through the 23rd, I can't read my writing, but it looks to be a funny bone, and then it has the word KY next to it. So it's either a grocery list my wife gave me, or I will be at the Funny Bone in which is I think is the Cincinnati.
Sense.
Which
it makes sense that you would need KY for your funny bone.
Yeah, so there you go. Those are our dates, and don't forget you can always go to heffronandreep.com, click on the shows. We have all our dates. We keep filling them in, all right there, and we hope to see you live at a show.
Heffron and Reep.
Oh, yay! All the radio announcements actually have a personality. They're not sitting there all monodrone.
They always are coming up with new stuff, new twists.
Every once in a while, you guys are not boring.
You're listening to Heffron and Reep.
Yes, and thank you for listening to another awesome episode of the Heffron and Reep Show. I am half of this. I'm the Reep half, the back half, the caboose, but sitting over here, well, I should say maybe he's in the cloud. You're in the cloud.
I'm in the cloud. I'm directly in front of you. Me and Reep aren't actually together, but it's weird because 2013, that can make it actually happen. So I'll have you, Reep. I can see him. He's not wearing pants. And for this podcast, I want to let you know the entire time I'm actually wearing wristbands.
Are you now? That's cute.
It's my new thing. It's my new thing. I put wristbands on when I went running because running's my new thing. And I put the wristbands up towards my forearm. And then all day I had them on. And then I was like, oh, man, I don't want to take off my wristbands. I just can we bring back wristbands? Are they out, or is there any way we can bring them?
I think they're kind of in. I mean, it depends on what you do. Like, there's a lot of skateboarder kids, and those kind of kids wear wristbands a lot. So, you might look like you're trying to look young, or you might be like, no, I'm old school. I never took these off.
yeah, exactly. Or I just got done playing racquetball or something like that. So maybe we make Heffron and Reep wristbands. My new thing is I started wearing these hats that I got for Christmas to embrace my Irish look. The kind of little hats that the read all about it newspaper guy. I've seen pictures with you. It looks like you're on the corner going, read all about it, say Yankees. Yeah. So
I got 3 different ones of those. I got black, gray, and I got like a brown one, and I actually got 4. I got like a leather one. So you're gonna see that a lot now. That's my new look, dude. You do the wristbands, I'll do the hat.
I say we own it. My wife always just says you just need to own it. When I'm like, do I look okay on this? How does this look? She's like, you just gotta own it. That's all.
Oh, hang on, I'm getting a phone call. I should have put this on vibrate.
You deal with that. Yeah. So right. so maybe we go wristbands. You wear your hat.
Yeah.
And that's it.
New Heffron and Reep look. Actually, one time I was in the Atlanta airport, and I was there on a layover, and I had my Irish hat. And I actually that day have a green Irish shirt that just says Irish on it. And I was just standing on the trolley going, from another terminal.
Right.
Some lady's looking at me, and she goes, are you from Ireland? Because I got the red hair and freckles. So it's almost like I'm trying hard for someone to think I'm from Ireland,
Or you're wearing one of those. And it's weird when you get caught up in it. And I did it when I was in Rome. Those hoodies you see at airports, whatever city you're in,
Yeah.
They have the hoodies of whatever city that is. You're in Dallas, they have but they're the same junky kind of crappy hoodies that are in every airport.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in Rome, for some reason, I got caught up in it, and I put on a Roma, hoodie. And then I was the guy on the plane who bought the hoodie where I was, but I was in Rome and not St. Louis. But it's the exact same thing.
Well, that's where the expression comes from. When in Rome, you get the hoodie.
Wear the hoodie.
Yeah. Well, let's play some trivia.
Let's do it. I get a lot of tweets saying people love this part, so we'll just let's keep it in. People, when you throw off stuff too much, when you not give people what they want, then they start to rebel. So let's get them with.
It's the Heffron and Reep game time. Whoa, it's the Heffron and Reep game time.
It's the Heffron and Reep Show trivia game. Yeah, the Heffron and Reep Show trivia game. They decided the stories they had were kind of lame. Yeah, the stories they had were kind of lame. So sit back and guess the answers with each of the Johns. You can get more smarter with you get your learning on. It's the Heffron and Reep Show trivia game. Yeah, the Heffron and Reep Show trivia game.
This trivia game is sponsored. We have a sponsor now for our trivia game.
Really?
Yes, this trivia game is sponsored by the Speed Network. More appropriately, there's a new show coming out on the Speed Network called Are You Faster Than a Redneck? And they're sponsoring this trivia game. More on that later. I'm going to give you an option, buddy. I've got two different games subject matters here, okay?
Okay. Do I get to pick which one?
Yeah, I'm going to give you the. I mean,
Yep.
I hope you choose one, but if you don't, that's okay.
Okay.
It'll say a lot about you which one you choose.
Okay.
One is about
Crocheting. Whatever one I want to do on crocheting.
Nope. One is about the Super Bowl that's coming up.
Oh, man.
You're gonna be by yourself in a hotel room watching that thing, aren't you?
Yes.
Like Charlotte somewhere, I think.
Yes, I'll be in Charlotte doing nothing. But okay, so this is where am I?
Super Bowl trivia, or we can go famous comedians trivia. Now, I figured I know which one you're going to pick because you know more about comedy. That's your world. But I'd like to see you get out of your wheelhouse, get out of your comfort zone, and try something different. Since, it is football's coming up. So
I know
why not?
nothing about Super Bowl.
All right.
I know one Super Bowl stat.
And what is that? What do you know?
In 1980, the Super Bowl was played at the Silverdome.
Okay.
And it was the 49ers versus somebody else.
All right. Well, there's 1-0. I'll give you that one.
All right. So did I win something for just random?
Yes, you get a free plug.
Okay, let's go. Let's go Super Bowl then.
All right, here we go.
Okay. I got wristbands on, so this is gonna be good.
All right, here we go. Question: where was the first Super Bowl held? Where was it?
Where was the first Super Bowl? Was probably held in.
I'll give you 3 cities and you can choose.
Oh, good. Even better. Okay.
And this is, by the way, this trivia game doesn't have multiple choice. I'm just going to make up 2 other places to make this easier for you.
Okay. Who's this sponsored by the way?
This is sponsored by Are You Faster Than a Redneck? More on that later on the Speed Network. February 22nd. Look for it. Okay. Was the Super Bowl held in Florida? Was it held in California? Was it held in New Jersey?
All right, so here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that it was the first Super Bowl ever was held probably in Florida, and then I'm going to guess that it was somewhere in the Miami area.
Incorrect. Los Angeles. The Super Bowl was held at the Memorial Coliseum January 15th, 1967. The Green Bay Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so that's
you want to keep going? Or
Let's go. Let's go one more.
Now, this one you might know. This is interesting. A lot of people probably, a lot of football fans will know this one. Which NFL team has played in the most Super Bowls?
Dallas Cowboys.
You are correct.
Oh!
You are also...
What? But I'm also wrong? I can't be correct and wrong.
There are 2 teams that are tied for...
Okay, so I would say Cowboys and the Patriots.
Nope. Steelers.
Oh, yes. I had Pittsburgh Steelers sheets. I had somebody in my family, even when I grew up in Detroit, bought me Steeler sheets because that's when Steelers were really popular.
You actually slept with a steel curtain?
I had the steel sheets, and then I'd swap them out with my Star Wars sheets.
Right. I had some Star Wars pillowcases.
Everybody did. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Did you not hear that knocking? I just heard a knocking.
You know, it might be me with a pen going like that, knocking.
Okay. All right, here we go. So the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys each have played in 8 Super Bowls.
Right.
The Steelers have won 6 of those games, a Super Bowl record, and the Cowboys have a 5-3 record, FYI. Okay, question. Which NFL teams have never played in the Super Bowl? There are 4 of them. 4 teams have never been in the Super Bowl. Give me 2, and I'll give you this one correct if you can get 2 of them.
Never played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Let's see. Never played in the Super Bowl. That means that
one of them should be obvious to you.
This is a team that never made it to the Super Bowl. So if I was to do a word problem here, I would figure out, okay, the question is, what team never? I would say the Detroit Lions.
Boom, that's one. One more to go. There's 3 teams to choose from. You only get one more, and then I'll give it to you.
And lastly, I would say the Harlem Globetrotters.
Wow. You know what? That's correct. They have not, but they're not an NFL team, so I can't give that to you.
I was just checking. Who's the last one?
Well, Cleveland Browns was one. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans, man, never played in the Super Bowl. And Houston's good most of the time. Lately, anyway. All right. Moving on. You want a couple more? You want a couple more?
No, because this is just making me feel dumb that I know little to nothing about football.
All right.
I could tell if you want to talk, old school football, Tecmo Bowl, if you were Bo Jackson, you'd probably just score a touchdown.
Yeah, if you were Bo Jackson, you're unstoppable. If you're Randall Cunningham, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, so that's about the extent of my football.
What about this? Do you want to try a couple of the comedian ones to see how it goes?
Sure.
All right, this will be fun. Okay. We've got stand-up
We'll do one of these.
Or famous comedians. Stand-up comedians or famous comedians?
Go stand-up comedians.
Stand-up comedians. All right, here's the first question.
Okay.
This guy is really comfortable with his masculinity. He's often asked guys if he could ride them down a flight of stairs while wearing a Viking helmet. Not in a gay way, but in a friendly guy sort of way. Who is he? Is he A, Dom Herrera, B, Tom Wolfe, C, Jay Leno, or D, Reggie Meyer? I don't know who Reggie Meyer is.
Yeah, I was going to say Bert Kreischer, but
I would have said like Bobby Lee or even
I could just there's a lot of comics in that club that no one knows about.
Pauly Shore could easily be in that one right there.
Yeah, so I would
well, let's just say it's not Jay Leno.
Okay, I would say Dom Herrera.
Dom Herrera, let me see it. I'm going to click on this.
He's the most masculine guy I can think of out of that group.
All right, let's.
But I could see him making jest that he would ride somebody down the steps.
I gotta the way this website is. You have to go through all the other ones first. So hang on. All right, here's the answer. The answer, yes, is Dom Herrera. You are correct.
There we go. Yes. All right.
Oh, it's the Heffron and Reep game time. Whoa, it's the Heffron and Reep game time.
We actually are going to have a heavy metal type opening in this thing. It's going to be awesome, dude. February 22nd, Speed Network. It debuts. Are you faster than a redneck? Yours truly, John Reep here. I'm the host. And the idea is, and I've told you this before, but I'll rehash it. Basically, it's like we get these hardcore motorheads, guys who love muscle cars, American-made muscle cars, and I call those guys, they're on my team. I call them my mullet mafia, and we challenge this younger generation or anybody really who loves imports to a real race. It's amateurs on a race, 3 laps on a track that's winding track, door to door. And if they win all 3 series of races, if they make it to the final round and they win, then they get $10,000 of my cash. That's right, it's my cash. I'm like the redneck Ben Stein if Ben Stein had a way lower IQ.
That's crazy that it's your money. Because I was just at your house recently, and you're like, man, I could use some extra money. And now you're giving away $10,000 every time person. Did you think that through?
I got to have something at stake in this thing, Like, I'm getting paid to host the thing.
Right.
But then I get bonuses if I don't lose $10,000. So it's my
Really?
money, but it's not my money. You know what I mean? Like, I could get more if my guys win. So I'm definitely rooting. And you'll see in these episodes, we've already shot 8 of them. When
did you do these, by the way?
This was in the summer.
Was it the summertime?
Yeah, in South Carolina, Kershaw, South Carolina. We went to a racetrack, and we shot 8 episodes in like 12 days or something like crazy like that. We just cranked them out. But yeah, there's a lot at stake for me, so I'm definitely rooting for the Rednecks.
And then I'm sure all the listeners, we'll rally behind you, John Reep. We will, you know what I mean? Because I would imagine on the speed, what they'll do is they'll see, okay, how many people are watching the first couple ones? Let's do more.
Right. They're gonna do a big push, big publicity push. They're sending me to the Daytona 500. I'm gonna be down there because that's like the Super Bowl of NASCAR,
right.
And they have tons of media outlet like they do with the Super Bowl. In New Orleans right now, there's tons of media down there. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of interviews for this show at the Daytona 500. Looking forward to that. Although they're flying me back the day of the race, the big race.
Oh, that's funny.
I didn't get to stay for the race, but
well, you had your NASCAR guy. What was his name? Your friend?
Michael Waltrip.
Yeah. Did you ever talk to him about Heffron and Reep sponsoring his car? Did you ask about that glove box space? We're talking that in the glove box, when you open it, if there's a glove box in a NASCAR, we're thinking maybe we could afford a sticker that's on the inside of the glove box, but then we could still say we own a NASCAR.
I haven't had a chance to ask him that yet, but now maybe I will. Maybe I'll see him down there in Daytona and I'll ask him.
Because my stepdaughter and wife went to a roller derby recently. And it was packed, hundreds and hundreds of people watching these chicks doing roller derby. Mm-hmm. And then, me always I'm thinking, why doesn't Heffron and Reep own a roller derby team? Like, we got to start sponsoring people.
That would be so cool.
And then we could say we own a roller team, and then maybe we'll find some little, is there a little kid league, like baseball league, that can all have Heffron and Reep on their jerseys, like the Bad News Bears? I mean, this is something we need to really. I think we call the team like the Heffron and Reapers.
That's good.
I don't know if girls listen to our podcast or to even narrow it down. Girls who listen to our podcast who are part of roller derby teams is probably a really specific niche within our listening audience. I'll have to look at the stats on that. But how much for you to become the Heffron and Reapers?
How much do you think that would cost? Do you have any kind of
I looked online. It's expensive. It's way more expensive than you think.
Right. And our money goes to what? Equipment and jerseys? And
then you get signage and you get, and stuff on the wall and then whatever. But I say we just figure it out and we try to just, we be ballers and we purchase a team outright.
Do you remember, like, when you played Little League Baseball? I don't know if you did, but if you did, what was one of the sponsors of your Little League team?
There was, at the time, it was called Brown's Root Beer and Sandwich Shop.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then if you won, then you would go there, and then you'd have, gallons of root beer. And then if you lost, your dad would drive you by and go, see those kids enjoying the root beer? Well, slide next time. Yeah.
What, that's not bad, though. Like, ours was Kern's Bakery. It was a guy, his last name was Kern, Kern, and he had his own bakery, Kern's Bakery. Yeah. So we were like, we didn't get any bread or anything. But
yeah, I think we should sponsor, maybe we'll sponsor a chick team, if anyone's thinking. And then maybe down the line, let's just find random weird crap to sponsor.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you don't think there's some rec league somewhere, some basketball team that,
What if we just, picked a random dude at the gym?
And
we
sponsor
said,
him?
How often do you come here? And he says, I'm here a lot, maybe 3 times a week. I'm like, all right. Well, then every time you're in here, you have to wear this Heffron and Reep T-shirt, Heffron and Reep hat, Heffron and Reep wristbands, all that stuff. You know, and then like when you do reps out loud, you have to count like this: 1 Heffron and Reep,
Yeah.
2 Heffron and Reep.
I think it could work. Let's do it. Let's
All
throw
right.
it out there. We just put it there on the universe, so we'll see what happens.
I am for that.
Us.
So I'm excited about this new technology we're using, and the reason why we even are doing this is because did I hear you're writing a book?
Yes, I'm writing a book. And writing a book is as hard as probably writing a book.
Wait, is it harder than reading a book?
It's way harder than reading a book.
What's the last book you actually read?
I read a lot of books, actually. The last book I read was How to Write a Book in 28 Days. Was the last book that I read.
And how long did it take you to read that book?
I skimmed through it pretty fast, and then I sat down and I started working on it. They have some system in there where it's called AIC, which is when you have to do something, when you have to do some writing, it's called ass in chair.
Right.
And you actually just sit down and you start writing.
You got to force yourself to just sit there and go, huh?
And then I have a timer, and this is some other theory or whatever, but you go 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off for 2 hours. So you set this timer, no distractions, no Facebook, no whatever. You sit down and you immerse yourself and you just start kind of writing, and 25 minutes goes by pretty quick. Your timer goes off. Now you have 5 minutes to do whatever you want to do, and then you go back for another 25 minutes, and you do that for 2 hours a day and have a brain dump, and, you start to figure it out.
Do you think this will carry over into how you write or come up with stand-up now? I mean, now that you've learned this little system from that book, do you think that'll help you?
We'll see how it goes, because I've already altered my system. Because I found with the book is I'll talk out the book, and then I found a transcribing company, and then I'll send that transcription to the company, and then I get all these pages back, and then from there, you kind of chop through and start to edit it.
Thank God, I couldn't imagine reading something that you actually wrote.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've seen your text messages.
No, I'm gonna it's gonna be spell checked. And the grammar is definitely going to be, checked. And it's, I niched out the book where I'm actually writing a book for people who don't normally come and see me do stand-up, which is a little bit of, not a risk, but, it's because I'm writing the book for guys in their early 20s.
Oh, I see.
Technically, it's for everybody, but that's who I'm basically talking to.
That's your angle.
Is that age group?
What? So, do you technically have a ghostwriter then, or is it?
No, man. It's all me with note cards, and I figured out I did an outline, and you figure out with the outline each chapter. You write 5 or 6 really big bullet points that you want to get to, and there's this whole system. And then I put all the cards down, and then I look at my first card, and it says intro. What do they go through on a daily basis? And then I'll just have a brain dump about the reader and what they go through on a daily basis. And I write a couple thousand words, and then I answer the next question, and then stuff like that. And then I'll need an editor because my writing skills blows.
So that's what an editor is. He just makes your writings, your ideas, the words that you come out of your mouth look better on paper at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, so if you're trying to get a point across where then they're like, what are you trying to say right here? Just like stand-up where you get really effective on how you're talking. So I'm excited. It gives me something. And then I'm going to try to have it done in a month is the other goal. So that's even harder.
Well,
and then I'm reading all this stuff where to get a book as a #1 bestseller on Amazon, there's all these little tricks where you get everybody to download the book on the same day, and it's only 250 people, 250 to I think maybe 500 people. If you can somehow convince them all to do it on one particular day, then you have a #1 bestseller. So we can do that.
Yeah, 250. I'll help you.
Because what I figured I'll do is we'll do it. The book's going to be really helpful because the book is tentatively titled, I Come to You from the Future, 10 Things I Wish I Knew When I Was Your Age. And it's just kind of all those like life lessons where you go through. And when you get older, you look back and go, ugh, that would have been way less heavy lifting had I known. Because when you're in your early 20s, you tend to think that nobody's ever been your age before.
Yeah, exactly. Now, are you doing this like with a comedy angle, or you?
Comedy
serious?
first. It's definitely trying to writing funny and talking funny is completely different.
I know.
So, I mean, it's you think it would be easy, but then even when I write out my bits, and for like, oh, this is gonna be a hilarious chapter, you don't realize how much of your bits is your personality or your voice. So when you just see the words, you're like, that sucks. So it's it's how you're toned. So then you got to get all that extra sprinkly type stuff in there.
Right, exactly.
So
well, I'm excited for you, man. Is this the first book for you? Or, I mean, did you get a book deal? Like, how did this whole thing come about?
Answer your first question. I wrote a book when I was in 4th grade. It was published, and I even got my name in the card catalog.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's a little info you didn't know about me. It was called Super Mouse and Cheesin'.
Super Mouse and Cheese In?
Cheese In. I don't know why. It was like I figured Mouse needed a sidekick, and so his name was gonna be Cheese, and then.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look that shit up.
Yeah, it was good, man. I think it got checked out like 2 or 3 times.
Super Mouse.
Oh, you won't see it online. I mean,
And
when I say published, everybody in my 3rd grade class, we made the book and you got to put it in the library.
Oh no, it's right here. It's on Amazon.
Yeah,
so
right.
One of your friends
number
put
one?
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I wrote 4 books.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So.
But how'd you get this book deal?
I didn't get a book deal because I decided my manager was like, hey, we should, do you want to do a book? Because I'm gonna shoot another special in June, and then I'm like, I'll do a book and a special. That's how I'll do it.
Wow.
Or have the special be part of the book, because now with your Kindle, so like if I'm talking about a bit, then you click on the link and then you see the bit that I'm actually doing. But it's stuff that no one's ever seen before. So then I'm just taking a gamble. I'm doing it all myself. I'm going to throw it up on Kindle and Apple and all that stuff and skip the whole kit and caboodle.
That's pretty cool.
Although it would be cool to see if you walk by like a airport bookstore and you look in and see your book.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But I don't think I'm famous.
Well, who knows? It might go to that point. It might get there. You never know. I was offered, not offered. I mean, there was at one time, right around winning Last Comic Standing, they had expressed interest in a book from me, and first of all, I don't read books. I mean, the only time I read books was when I had to in college, and then. Well, I haven't read a book in forever. I don't think I read like magazines or websites and that kind of stuff. Which I should. I should read more. But anyway, so when they said, "Do you want to write a book?" I'm like, "Well, first of all, I don't read them, so writing one's going to be hard." Right. And I don't even know what the subject matter would have been. I didn't want to do like a biography because I don't think I'm not famous or big enough to have like my whole life story. And by the way, my life's not over, so I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, that's what's weird. But then you see like all the housewife chicks have a book, and they're like Snooki. I mean, and Snooki made millions off of her book, but she didn't even write it. She had a ghostwriter, and she had, I think I read 2 or 3 conversations with that person over the phone, and that was it. And then you get to say you're an author. I will tell you people, I have fucking note cards. That's how committed I am. I have note cards and wristbands.
Yeah, you showed me some app that you were using that sort of organizes all your thoughts or something.
I've been immersed in this because I figure we have so much time on our hands on the road. Why not? What else are you going to do?
Well, I was thinking if I do write a book, I already kind of know what it will be. It'll be something like, the small towner's guide to surviving the big city. Like, if you're from a small town or the country and you're going to travel to New York, Los Angeles, Vegas, some big city, and you've never been to a big city before, here's a guidebook that's going to help you survive that. You know what I mean? Like when you go out to a restaurant and you order tea, you're not going to get iced sweet tea. They're going to ask you lots of questions. Do you want green tea? Do you want passion fruit tea? Do you want hot tea? Do you want unsweetened tea?
It's almost like one of those language guides when you go to Rome or Italy. It's almost like you're converting, from southern to city. So when they say, how are you guys doing? That's how y'all doing. Yeah. And you can just do the reverse.
Yeah, there could be a language portion, but it's just traffic. Like when you hear someone blow the horn, that doesn't mean they want you to get out of the car and beat their ass.
Right.
Which usually in a small town, if you blow the horn at somebody, it's either because you know that guy and you're saying hey, or you're ready to fight. Like, get out, let's throw down. But in big cities, people just lay on the horn all the time. It's just like, hey, move on, But, so that would have been my idea, but, of course, that never happened. But I might be doing something like that.
Well, I got a system. I can show you. We can flesh that idea out. Turn this Heffron and Reep into an umpire. Umpire? We can become umpires or empire.
3 strikes, you're out.
Let me ask you this question. Has your wife, and this is random, this is where there'd be a Heffron and Reep subject change. Has your wife ever hidden anything from you, not secret-wise, but just selfishly, how do I even say that? Do you get that question?
Has she ever kept a secret from me, or
No.
actually hidden a physical thing?
Right before we started recording this podcast, I'm starving and I haven't eaten all day. So I go open up the refrigerator and I don't see any food. Then there's this mystery drawer that's in our freezer. I never even open it, and so I opened it and I saw some stuff and I kind of started digging deep. I found a whole box of there's these waffles that you don't need syrup.
What?
And all you do is toast them, and you eat the waffle, but they already have the syrup coated on them, so you don't even need to put syrup on them. You haven't had these?
No,
Dude,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're like syrupless. But I found a box hidden. Like they were hidden from me, so I wouldn't have easy. So you remember when you get married, they're like, in this light, it joins this flame, and this flame becomes one. Right. But now I just realized that my family is hiding food from me.
Ooh.
And I don't know how to feel about that.
Now, how did you discover it? Did you just...
I went digging. It was purposely put underneath some bullshit stuff that I would like frozen peas, like stuff where I would just, my eye would go, there can't be anything good beyond the frozen peas. And underneath the frozen peas were these
the best waffles ever.
Yes.
Have you confronted your wife about this yet?
Not yet, but I'm going to. That's going to be a big, if we have a team meeting today, I'm going to bring that up. Going, listen, if I'm paying for food, you're not allowed to hide the food that I actually bought. I did that in college. Like when I was in college, we'd go, you'd buy food, and you'd come home, and then you'd put some stuff not out where everybody else could grab it.
I don't think my wife, just to answer your question, I don't think she's ever... never hid food from me, or I don't think so. I mean, now I'm going to go look through the house. Maybe she has. I kind of wish that she would, because she goes out and buys like all this sugary stuff, chocolate stuff, and I can't. I don't have any self-discipline or self-control, and I open the cupboard and there's all these dark chocolate peanut butter cups. I can't eat just one of those.
But do you ever think that she took those dark covered peanut butter cups and looked and saw, oh man, we only have 3 left. I'm going to put 2 in this drawer so John only eats 1.
I
do you
would
think
not
she's
be
ever
surprised.
done that?
She may have, but I've never caught her. Because I know I've done that, but she's never caught me. But now that I've just outed myself, when she listens to this, sorry, honey, it was cookies. I think it was something sweet, but not as sweet as you. Yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, you're gonna. What are you gonna say to her? How are you gonna confront her? You know what you should do? Wait, I got an idea.
One, I'm going to remind her that I'm going through a phase where I'm wearing wristbands. So that's going to be the thing. So I think if you see a guy in wristbands, then you just know, listen, he means business.
Yeah.
When the wristbands are on, I'm not screwing around. I want wrist support because it's going down.
That, and if you got one of those Irish hats, throw that sucker on too, and that'll really intimidate her. But no, here's what you do: take the waffles that you found.
They're good, dude. I wish I knew the name of them. They're syrup. No need for syrup. Syrup less, like Eggos, like Eggo, like Lego My Eggo, or whatever that thing was.
Here's what you do: eat all of them except for one.
I'm gonna put the empty box back.
Then you put you could do that. Oh, I was gonna say just put one of the waffles inside of her pillowcase.
Just to let her know. Go, listen, I know what you're doing. I just want to let you know, you can keep up this habit, that's fine. But you're not, I realize and I know what you're doing.
Yeah, or hide something of hers that she really likes, jewelry, a hairdryer. I don't know what your wife likes, but find something and hide that.
Or, well, here's what I do. I find something that she thinks she has hidden, but I see. And then I take that and put it in the box of the waffles. Just the kind of one of those, I know, I know. I just want you to know that I know that, you know what I mean?
And right when it'd be great if when she discovers that, you just walk right up to her and kiss her on the cheek. Don't say a word.
And just smell. And
like the Godfather. He's like, I know it was you. Oh, that's classic.
Dude, how did we get, we've been kind of, not all over the place, I've been enjoying it, but how did we get 41 minutes into the podcast and we have not talked about, and we got to figure out what's going on with you. I don't know.
Is it 41 minutes in? Have we been, okay.
Yeah, it goes by pretty fast.
I didn't even know.
It's, roughly.
Yeah.
But I got one other big story, and then I can shut up for the rest. But had a guy at the show this week had a heart attack during my show. Have you had that happen?
What?
Have you had that happen?
No.
Have you ever had medical emergency at your show?
I've had people puke and pee, but
have you had a fight?
Fist
fight, I'm not being loud. You feel like that.
Yeah, it was two other people, not me, but two people fought each other and they had to get kicked out. But
I've had sex. I've had a couple got busted for having sex during the show. And the greatest story about that, they were having sex and the door guys let them finish. And I asked the door guy, I go, why'd you let him finish? And then the door guy said, I figured the guy would be easier to deal with afterwards, which was a genius move because you're not angry at anything immediately after.
It is a smart move. And were they trying to be secretive about it? It wasn't like they were on stage doing this. Were they off in a corner somewhere where no one could see them?
Yeah. That was their thing. They were far back, and they were probably wondering, I wonder if we can do this.
Right. Yeah. Might as well, if they're not interrupting anything, go ahead and finish, and then we'll kick them out.
Yeah. So.
But wait, some guy died in your show or had a heart attack, or what happened?
He didn't die. He literally. I'm doing my show, and the staff, God love them, at this place.
Where was it?
The staff. I was in Erie. All super cool people. Just tend to be when they're handing out food, a little louder than I would like.
Okay, that happens sometimes.
Where when they come over to you with the tray, they say, "Who had the chicken?" And then they try to be louder than you on stage, and so
and they're probably right in the front row.
Oh, and they're just everywhere.
Right at the light.
So the whole week, I just kind of accepted that they've never had a team meeting, and we're never told not to yell louder than the comic when they're handing out food. I would just who cares, right? It's just the thing. So I hear commotion. And I'm assuming that that's what's going on because nobody's this whole week. There's been no heckling. The crowds were just unbelievably awesome. So there's no bad vibe. So I hear crazy commotion, and I think it's one of the servers. And this guy apparently was sitting up and passed out, and his face went face down onto the table, as hard as you could take your head and slam it.
Oh,
and
God.
And there he was eating chicken and biscuits, so all that went everywhere too. But so,
wait, how close was he to the stage?
Right off to the left, just out of how the lights usually you can see really good the first two rows, just right about where it starts to get a little bit darker.
So you didn't see this happen.
I didn't see. I heard a chunk, and then I heard commotion. So I thought somebody dropped some fries, and so I didn't realize what it was.
Wow.
And
How old do you think this guy was?
This guy was probably 60s.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So then you hear commotion, and it's weird how the human body, how you just from the stage, I felt something was something's wrong. You just got that vibe, even though I could hear what's going on.
Wow.
So I'm on stage, and in the whole club's pretty dark. All the lights are Showtime lights, so you can't see anything. So I'm up there, and people are trying to move, and this comedy club doesn't have tables. It has these long conference tables. Most comedy clubs have little four tops.
Yeah, small
this
tables.
one is almost not picnic tables, but just imagine a really long picnic table that seats 50 people. 25 on both sides. So nothing's movable. So if you fall there, it's not like you can move stuff out of the way. It's kind of so I hear people say, make room, get back, and all the lights are off. So on stage, I was like, you're not going to joke about it. So I stopped talking, and I said, hey, you guys turn on the lights, because it's pitch dark. A couple minutes went by, no lights are on. I go, hey, guys, let's turn the lights.
But you didn't know that this guy was having a heart attack. You just felt that this guy needed help.
At this point, people were moving around saying call. I heard a couple call 911s and stuff like that.
Oh,
so you
wow.
knew something. You knew definitely something. Was going on. So
yeah.
I said turn on the
maybe
lights.
Like, is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, somebody said that. So I on stage, no lights are on, no lights are on, and just not. Sometimes you say stuff when stuff gets really stressful. You kind of say smart-assy things just to. So I go. From stage, I say, you'd think there'd be a system in place for this. Can somebody turn on the lights? Because where I was on stage, I can't get to any lights. So then I said, call 911 if you need me to announce anything. So they moved the guy out, cutting through the story. They moved the guy out, but here's where the guy had a heart attack. I have a joke in my act.
Wait, before you do that. How far into your act were you?
5 minutes.
Oh, wow. You just started.
Just started. 5 to 6 minutes at the top. So I do a joke in my act about, and I'm skipping through it, but teenagers, how they mumble when you talk to them, how most teenagers sound like pro football players when they're announcing their name and what college they attended. Just most teenagers are like, huh, what, just like that, right? And then I do a joke where I go, I'm going to probably be an old dad, and I'm going to have a heart attack, and the last thing I hear on earth after I tell my son to call 911 is going to be, huh? And that kind of gets a laugh when I said, okay, that guy had a heart attack at that exact moment. So I literally said, wouldn't it suck to be older and you have a heart attack?
Oh, my God.
And right then, when I was doing, that's when I heard a big chunk. So I literally said, wouldn't it suck to have a heart attack? And that's when the guy, almost to the second, dropped
right right then and then he just said, oh no, I meant to say wouldn't it be great to get a blowjob right now.
From the so they move him, and now I
gotta say, following a heart attack is almost, I don't know how you follow that. You only did 5 minutes, and then this guy almost dies of a heart attack. Do you finish your show? I mean, go ahead.
Here's what happens. So now the entire room is lit. Now all the lights are off. So then they move him out to the bar area, and then out of the blue, every light in the entire place goes dark again. So completely lit. Shut off the lights, and now it's completely dark. And then from a dark stage where you can't even see me now, I go, oh, okay, I guess we're going to start the show again. And that kind of got a laugh. And I go, I'm going to need some lights on stage, though, to do this. Now the crowd's kind of laughing and stuff. And then they turn on the lights that light up the stairs leading to the stage, almost like these emergency lights. Those slowly start to go up. So now it's almost equivalent of being on stage and plugging in a night light.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only light I have on. And I go,
you're going to tell ghost stories.
Yeah, so then I go, I'm going to need some more lights than this. And then some other random weird light came out of somewhere. Now, no stage lights are on yet. So some weird light from some other hallway comes back on. So then, it's a fine line between trying to joke and then legitimately starting to get pissed off.
Yeah.
Right? So I look at the crowd or the club, and, I'm not confrontational. That's just not who I am as a comic, at least. Right. As a person, maybe a little bit more. But as a comic on stage, I'm just, both of us are kind of that way. We're just like, we're all here to have a good time. Let's laugh at some stuff. I don't have that fake anger that a lot of comics like to have. You know what I mean? There's that fake, I'm so edgy. You can tell I'm edgy because I say fuck a lot on stage, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So we don't. So I from the stage, I go, here's the deal, and I said it almost this tone. I go, this club's been open for 25 years, and you do shows 365 days a year. I would like the lights to be set at whatever you have them set at for 25 years. So however you've set the lights for 25 years of being in business, is there any way we can turn them to that?
Well, let me ask you this, because
I just found it odd that nobody in the entire place
that's
knew.
Odd. I'm giving you that. I'm giving you that. But what I'm asking you this is because you kind of left me hanging a little bit. Now, this guy who had the heart attack, is he still in the lobby? As the ambulance came, maybe someone who works at the club who operates the lights is the guy who took him to the hospital. I don't know. Like, are you guys missing some people, some staff people because of this?
There's only one person in the club that knew how to run the lights, which, okay. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not a business owner. If that's how you choose, then that's how you choose to do it. And apparently the guy woke up or came out of, because he was like, completely comatose. He went into the hall or the bar. I guess he popped up for a second and was like, I'm fine. I hope I didn't wreck the show. Just give me a beer and I can go back in.
Give me a beer.
So the guy stands up on his own, and then they sit him at a bar stool, and then the guy passes out again, completely falls and passes out again. And he had some heart condition where apparently it's not a full heart attack, but you're like your body reboots. I don't know.
Are you
It's
saying
called
Ron,
it's called like AI or something, or I don't know.
It was Ron Jeremy just had this. I think he just had like a heart. I forgot what it was called.
I don't know, but he fell. Yeah.
So all right,
Then got the crowd. I mean, the crowd after the light thing. After I got pissy with that, they were, and it's one of those things. As a comic, there's not a lot to make fun of. It's, it's best just to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Hope that everyone's okay in the long run, but you're not gonna be like, what's with that guy having a heart attack?
So the guy who didn't turn the lights on, they was still there. The people.
Yeah, because to the club's defense, they were they were in the lobby dealing with a guy who had a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like at that point, comic Monkey Boy on stage really wasn't their number one concern.
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, I've got one for you. I mean, your story's way better than mine. But wait, did you finish your set? I mean, did you start over because you only done 5 minutes? Did you pick up where you left off? Did you point out to the crowd, "Oh my God, that was my heart attack joke," and the guy just freaking had a heart attack?
And they were weird. And then I did a thing that I think I've talked about on this podcast before. Anytime there's a weird state, anytime there's a weird feeling in the room, you can break state. Yeah, and by state, I mean the mood or what people are thinking by asking a random question, because your brain cannot not answer a question. Right. So if I was to ask you, anything, your brain would jump to answer that. So literally after the heart attack, I looked at everybody and I said, "Do you guys smell popcorn?" Right?
Why popcorn?
You need to ask a question. So if I was to look at you, even though we're Skyping right now, and I was to go, "Hey John, does your office smell like cotton candy?"
Mm-hmm. I would say no or yes.
Yeah.
I would say no.
Yeah. You even though we're across the internet, you had to stop and go, "No, Heffron, no, my room doesn't smell like cotton candy."
No, I get that.
So I get you out of the. So
why popcorn? I'm just asking why that question.
That's my favorite one.
Oh.
Or I always go, you smell burnt popcorn.
But as good as you are at marketing and just knowing how to promote yourself and your products and your brand, I'm surprised you don't have what was the name of our website again?
Right.
Just to put that out there, because then they're thinking oh.
Well, I do that if and you use this too. It's not mine. If somebody drops anything at the show, how somebody's always going to drop a glass.
Yeah.
Right when you hear that big shatter or drop, you know how the crowd would normally go, "Oh," or make a noise?
Yeah.
That's when you go johnreep.com. Just literally say your website. Don't say go to, just say johnreep.com.
I like it.
So
I like it. Well, I'm glad to hear that the guy. I mean, we don't know. We don't know a follow up, do we? I mean, did he die at the hospital or?
I didn't hear anything, but he was in the lobby asking for beer. So let's just assume that the guy is okay. I didn't. The owners of his club are.
Shout out to the 60-year-old guy who had a heart attack. And John Heffron, you killed. Well, no, seriously, if the guy dies, you could say you killed someone with your comedy. Every comedian's always like, "Yeah, I killed that night." You freaking killed.
Yeah. By the way, if we're going to do shout-outs right now, just randomly, and then we'll jump right in. There's somebody on Twitter that plugs our shows constantly, and they've listened to every episode. So I just want to do a shout-out just because my computer's pulled up to 1MJ.
1MJ?
It's all I know about this person.
Well, that's great. Well, shout out 1MJ. Keep on Heffron and reaping on.
We need wristbands, man.
I know. I've got this other thing, not similar, but I was just in Jacksonville, Florida, at the Comedy Zone,
right?
And we know what happened there with Tammy Pascatelli, right?
Right.
That was one of our first podcasts. We had Tammy on. We talked about she was on stage and some lady threw a drink at her, and then they called the cops, and the cops didn't do anything about it. So there's a whole podcast about that. You can go dig it up. I forgot what episode it is. But anywho, I was just there. I didn't bring this whole thing up to them while I was there. But there is something weird about Jacksonville. It's almost, I mean, not everybody, but there's a thing. It's a feeling almost from the crowd that they're in charge, that this is their show. It's not the comedian show, and we can do what we want. I mean, it's sort of a pervasive vibe that goes on there. And I don't know why, but this random lady at the end of my set, well, towards the end, I have a big closing bit, John. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I've got this big choreographed bit set to music where I'm sitting on the stool and I'm miming out what it's like going cruising in a small town in my brother's IROC Z28, and it's set to Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me, and every beat has an action on it, and it's like, you know, it's a good closing bit. And I was setting that up, and out of nowhere I see this sweet little old lady, sort of not that old but kind of old, walking up with a note in her hand, and she's sort of waving it at me. And I'm like, oh, what is it? You know, like, so I get the note, and I'm like, well, you know, your timing was horrible. I guess. Right. I was almost finished. But so I put the note on Facebook, and I'm going to read the note to you. Okay. And I read the note on stage. And I made fun with it, and I wasn't picking on her. Right. Because I know that it's not like, you know, she did anything in a mean, hateful sort of way. Right. But she just wanted this message to be put out there from me, the comedian. It says, John Reep, John, spelled my name wrong. My son, Chaz Sanders, is going into the Army tomorrow. Could you please say something funny? Now, first of all, I've been on stage for an hour. It's almost like saying I haven't said anything funny at all yet. Right. But I know what she means. She means funny about her son or whatever. It says, could you please say something funny to Chaz Sanders? She has her son's name, first and last name, twice in the note, which I think is hilarious. Right. Something funny to Chaz Sanders. We have 30 people celebrating here tonight for Chaz. He's my only boy. 6 sisters. And then, so I poked fun at her. I poked fun of her handwriting, her note, the fact that she was drunk. I gave Chaz a big old shout out because, you know, hey, we support the military. We give to the wounded warriors. I'm all about it, man. So I didn't put her down, but I did sort of convey that it wasn't, this is not acceptable behavior at a comedy club. You're not supposed to walk up there and hand the headliner a note. You know, that's just not what you do. You give that to the MC or the manager when you get there, and it's up to them to handle it, not me. But anyway, I am a headliner. I'm a comedian. I know how to handle these things. It went well. Everything was fine. And I put this picture, and I said on stage, this is great. I'm going to share this with all my followers on Facebook. I said that on stage at the time. And I uploaded it to Facebook, and everyone sees a note. And I wrote this, joking, because I know the people in the room would get this when they go to my Facebook page to see it. Okay. But what happens is people on Facebook who weren't in the club, they don't know the tone of my voice and my message, and they think that maybe I'm slamming this chick or something. But I just wrote this. Dear Janice, you spelled my name wrong. Thanks for handing me this note during my closing bit. Your timing was horrible, but nonetheless, I wish your son well. Give him hell, Chaz. So that was just, my funny way of sharing this note and sort of just, giving her a little bit of shit, but nothing crazy. But the people who in the room know that it went well and everyone was happy. But then when you go read the thread under the picture on my Facebook page, you'll see people are just attacking each other. One person, he's a comedian, he's joking. Another person's like, I don't care. This was a lady, her son's going to the military to fight for your freedom, and all this. There are people who take the slant like I'm against the military or some shit.
Why do you think, though, maybe it's not just Jacksonville, or, because it's always the comedy club, they set the tone. Do you think people are getting dumber, or do you think all her son going to military side? Now, it has nothing to do with this particular woman or the note at all. Right. Now it has everything to do with, because I did a corporate event, a huge corporate event in front of 6,000 people. Jim Gaffigan is on stage. Yeah. He is doing his closing bacon bit. That's as famous as Jim Gaffigan is. That's his most famous bit. 6,000 people. as he's doing the bacon bit,
Was it bacon or Hot Pockets bit? Because the Hot
one,
Pockets.
one or the other.
Yeah,
I think it was Hot Pockets, maybe.
Right.
A woman walks from the crowd up to the stage, and this is a ginormous stage, hands him a marker and a picture of him and asks him to sign it. Why he's doing his closer. He's literally, if you're not a comic and you watch the Olympics, it's like the guy doing the pole vault when he's running. That's what your closer is. And she stepped in front of him. He stopped his bit and had to sign it, and she walked away. Clueless. So do you think people, and not people are getting dumber, but it's just with the live performances, are just people that fucking clueless?
I don't know, man.
Who's winning? Are the clueless people winning, or are the smarter people that realize, hey, this guy's doing a live performance, we should probably, because I had a bachelorette party at Erie that was just, what? We're not allowed to have fun? We're just not allowed, we're not even doing anything. We're just not looking at their phone the whole time and stuff like that. It's just like, you're dumb people. You're just dumb. Like, why did you choose a form of entertainment where you have to pay attention to the person the entire time?
I definitely
go
think
play laser tag. Go run around with some lights. Have a great time. But when you go see comedy, you have to sit there and pay attention, or you're going to have a shitty time. We didn't ask you to come.
No, I think to answer your question, I think people are. I don't know if they're getting.
Well, we did
dumber.
ask you to come, but
I think that they're getting more. They don't have social public etiquette anymore. It's like they just don't care about other people's time and their money. It's like they just there to do their thing, and they don't really care if it interferes with you. I think it all comes from this internet world and always being on Facebook, always being on your phone, and just it's all about me all the time. So when you go somewhere and it's another comedian talking for an hour, they're just sort of not used to.
It's almost like when I first started performing, a billion years ago, when you would do shows in Vegas, everybody who would come to the Vegas show was dressed up. Everybody was just, that was the thing. Everybody was dressed nice. Now if you go and do a show in Vegas, you have tank tops and people with those big yards of beer, and they're slipping on it, and they got some stupid, Mardi Gras type, things on and flip-flops. So maybe, but maybe if that's the world, then that's the world. Let's try to class it up, and we're going to class it up by starting to wear wristbands.
Yeah, and Irish hats.
That's going to be our new thing. If you see somebody with wristbands and Irish hats, you go, that is a gentleman? That is a classy guy right there. If you wear Irish hats and wristbands, that's a whole. We could bring that back, dude. It's kind of like bringing sexy back, but we could start a whole trend. Like that's the thing.
You got to get the Irish hat, and I got to get some wristbands apparently. I think people are just getting more and more.
And I got no tolerance for it.
Self-centered, And the older I get. I mean, when I was younger, a younger comic, it would throw me off my game because I'm not like a crowd work kind of comedian.
Right.
There are great comedians who have a skill, improv, where they can go on stage and do crowd work and have a funny set for 30 minutes to an hour maybe, and kill without having one bit of material that they've written and memorized and performed for you. And that is, that's a great skill to have, but that's not what I do.
Right.
And so when people would throw me off my game and say stuff or heckle or hand me a note or whatever, it would be hard for me to get back in place. But at least it wouldn't make me mad. I would kind of like laugh at that experience and go like, wow, this is an experience I'm sort of having. I've always thought about this as a comedian. Now it's happening to me. So I kind of enjoyed it a little bit.
Right.
But the older I get, the more and more I hate it.
Yeah, it's hard for me a lot of times to, especially because I'm working on my new special. So I'm really in my head like, okay, what's the fastest way I can say this? So then when I got to have a fucking conversation with you, and you're not, I'm not going to have this conversation in my special, then to me, I'm just like, I'm wasting valuable time right here. This is I only have X amount of times that I'm going to get on stage before I shoot this. And if I'm spending 15 minutes because you're dumb,
Yeah.
I don't know. But, by the way, I don't know if we want to talk about this now or do we do it the next podcast. I'll leave it up to you. But I recently, do we talk about it now or do we?
Why don't we?
By the way, we've added some stuff to heffronandreep.com. I urge you to go back and check out any past shows. We keep trying to update that, and we keep trying to crank these out. Any contact that you would like to make with us, let us know what you feel about the show. Leave comments on iTunes.
Voicemails. They can leave us voicemails.
We have a couple on there, but I forgot to grab.
Well, we can do it in the next podcast. We can do it.
Yeah, and then I don't know. Yes, yeah, we had a guy want tickets to come and see me in Charlotte, and I gave him tickets because he left that message. So that's an option.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Let's just say that. Hey, you want free tickets to
Just
one of our
go.
shows?
We're not
Leave
gonna
us a voicemail.
Yeah, we're not going to give it to you. Every single person who leaves a message, but that guy did it, and you know what? He got tickets. So there you go. So why not give it a whirl?
I say you get a 50-50 chance. I say.
Yeah. Yeah, we could come. So do I want to do I tell you this, or do we just wait till next time? I defended Carrot Top.
I was going to say tease it. You defended Carrot Top?
Yeah. So you don't want to talk about that next podcast?
How much time have we done so far?
This is a nice, healthy podcast, but it's been moving fast. The people listening, because here's what I've been polling. Have you been talking to people after shows about the podcast?
Me?
Yes.
Yes, I bring it up. I mean,
here's what I've noticed. Most people who listen to us all have jobs where they need to listen to us because they're working 8 hours and they're allowed to listen to this stuff. Right. So us, so right now we should probably throw in an encouragement thing going, hey man, you're doing a great job at work. You're almost done. Then you get home and you're going to have some, waffles without syrup on them. So you're doing great. And in case no one told you today that you do a good job, me and Reep would like to tell you. You do a good job, and we realize you're not always appreciated like you should be.
Applause. Great job, listeners. We love you.
And then now just look at something in your office and just steal it.
Yeah, take a stapler. Who cares?
Who cares? We totally. So do you want to talk about now, or do you want to talk about next podcast? It's up to you, man.
Let's tease it. We'll tease it. We'll say. Look for this in the future podcast. We're going to talk about.
Here's what I would like to get in depth with.
Defending Carrot Top, and I also want to talk about an idea that I'm thinking about doing with my manager brought up to me about calling in radio stations and having my own sort of Metro Jethro Hollywood Minute type thing. We can flesh it out. You and I can flesh it out on the podcast.
Well, let's just do it now.
Oh, you don't want to end this one?
I mean, we could. Do you want to do your thing now? Flush it out? Because why not? Why? Because if we wait for you to flush it out till we get together again, that'll be a week or two later. And you know, John Reep, since I've been working on this book, I'm all about ass and chair and getting shit done that you need to get done in life.
I like it.
So why don't we just hear it? And then while you're pulling that up, I guess we'll tease. Here's what I don't understand. And I really want to have this conversation, but I don't know how to word it correctly, but I'm not intimidated by other comics. Why is Carrot Top? When I started doing stand-up, Carrot Top was the shiznit when I was 19 years old. I remember going on spring break, watching an MTV spring break thing. Carrot Top was on stage, brought out his trunks. 5,000 people, which were all my age at the time, all went crazy, right? But then even young comics now like to make fun of Carrot Top, even though these young comics have probably performed maybe 17 minutes total on stage. But it's hip to shit on Scott because he does props, right? That's just the hip, like you go, oh, that's a prop act. But okay, but why is and now I've never met this guy, so I'm not saying anything bad will about him. But why is it Dimitri Martin? A guy who gets on stage. Now, this is going to look like I'm slamming somebody. I'm not. I'm just trying to make a comparison. Carrot Top props, pull out of a trunk, hacky prop act.
Right.
Somebody gets on stage with a whiteboard or draws pictures, or that black dude who's on Comedy Central, and while he's talking, a picture of whoever he's talking about pops up. Why is that hip and alternative, but Carrot Top is technically... Do you know what I mean? Like, Carrot Top, let's say he pulls out, here's Abraham Lincoln's beard, and physically pulls it out. Dimitri Martin or the black dude shows a picture of Lincoln's beard. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's hacky if it's in 3D, but if it's in 2D, if it's an image, then it's perfectly acceptable, and all the
Yeah, hey.
Am I making myself like I'm not slamming those guys. I'm just saying I don't get why one is technically more highbrow than the other. What I don't get. It's the same. You're still using visual. You're still using, and I'm not saying using visual anything is wrong. I also want to let that you do whatever you need to do to make rent. I could give a shit less what you do.
Same here. Yeah, they're all props, and somewhere along the way, it turned into the cool thing to hate on prop acts somewhere along the way.
But why are some? Why like I don't get like? Then there's some alternative guys with guitars.
I don't think Dimitri Martin would tell.
I'm not, and there's nothing wrong with it.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
But I mean, from the conversation I had with this young comic, I asked him who he liked and da-da-da, and then he made fun of Carrot Top, and then I was like, you realize the person you admire and Carrot Top, they're doing this, not the same act, but it's the same, one is not, but, we'll discuss that at another,
Carrot Top's been doing it for a long time. I mean, who's the guy, the Sledge-O-Matic flushes the watermelons? Gallagher, prop act, but you know how many specials Gallagher's had? Probably like 8 or 9 over the years. I mean, that guy was huge in the 80s.
Well, with Gallagher, what's scary is the dude's broke. That's what.
Yeah, he made bad business decisions.
That's true, right? But anyway, so
Carrot Top is not broke. Carrot Top is doing well. I mean, he lives in Vegas and sells out shows in Vegas all the time.
Yeah. It just bugs me when you're a young comic with notebook going on stage with notebooks, slamming guys that are really successful. You need to keep it in check, because I'm from the old school where you going on stage with a notebook as a prop. You going, so what else is what else do I have for you? And looking at your notebook, that's a prop.
Right.
You memorize that shit and you go on stage without having notes. That's how you did it that's how you did it in Detroit. That's what you did. You didn't go on stage with notes.
That's right. It's just hypocritical to have a guy with a notepad prop making fun of prop acts while he's having a prop in his hand. I get it. It's hypocritical, and we call bullshit.
I'm calling bullshit. I cash in your wolf card comics like that.
Exactly.
Well, I wasn't on a show that was rigged.
Right. No, I'm on your side. Have you met Carrot Top?
Yeah, super nice guy.
Super cool guy, and one of his writers is a buddy of mine, Charlie Vericola. Helps write. I mean, believe it or not, there are jokes in there too. Charlie helps him write. Super cool guy. Never mean to anybody.
Nope.
Just trying to live his life and make a buck in this world and tell a joke. And
it's just hip too. It's just hip to say you don't like it when you go. You know what I mean? When they're all doing it perfectly. I guess we kind of talked about it. So maybe next podcast.
I met with my managers, and I got new managers now, and they're like, well, part of their job is to help your road career and all that stuff, and so they have a lot of ins with radio markets. And you and I both traveled so much and done so many radio. We basically, on our own, could probably call up John Boy and Billy, Bob and Tom, Ace and TJ, all these big names.
I can't call up any of those.
You can't?
You could.
What about Detroit? There's probably some radio stations in Detroit. You could probably call Danny Bonaducci, get on the radio anytime you want.
You might take, yeah. Okay, so let's just, you have more radio stations to call than me. It's not a competition.
Right. So, but... and those sort of are in place that the comedy clubs usually set those up for you, the comedian, to promote the shows for them, their comedy club, that weekend, right? So I'm only doing, and we only do maybe the same club twice a year.
Right.
So I'm only on Bob and Tom or John Boy and Billy
once a
year at the most. Yeah.
Right.
So, but Larry the Cable Guy, he got really sort of famous for just calling in radio stations and doing his Larry the Cable Guy bit, and then having a 2-minute little segment or 3-minute segment, and then where he'd say "get her done," and he just took off that way. So I'm sort of following that mold a little bit, where it's like I got to come up with something to call in these radio stations and have a minute, 2-minute, 3-minute little how do you do, just to get my name in their heads again.
And keep in mind, radio guys are inherently lazy. So if you give them content, that makes their life easier. And all the kids listening, anytime you make anybody's life easier, you will succeed. So if you make your boss's life easier by doing something, then that boss will be like, I like having this person around because they make my life easy, and that's it's all the key.
Yeah, exactly.
I should write a book or something.
You should jot this down. Are we recording this?
Yeah.
All right, good. So I've come up with, my little thing is I'm a Metro Jethro.
Okay.
That's my thing. You come to kids from the future. I'm a Metro Jethro. So I thought about, having and I live in L.A., and there's all these TMZ, Perez Hiltons of the world, and they're always giving you that angle. But what about a Metro Jethro Hollywood Minute? sort of thing where I call in, reporting on the gossip sort of thing, but more about with more of a Metro Jethro slant or angle. So it's not always about Lindsay Lohan or so maybe it's about Billy Bob Thornton or something that happened. It's about a Metro Jethro,
Gotcha.
or it has a Metro Jethro point of view to it. And so I've just been toying with what to call it. I don't like Metro Jethro Hollywood Minute. That's too long. So I'm thinking of maybe just calling it the Metro Jethro Memo. It's a memo, and it's from Hollywood. Maybe I don't know. Throwing Hollywood in there kind of messes it up. It makes it long, and it ties you to that. But
what about
anyway,
Metro? See, I can't say it. Metro. What? How do you say it?
It's 2 words. Okay.
Okay. So what?
Metro is the first.
Metro.
Word.
Okay.
Like Metro Police.
Okay. Metro.
You got that one. Now, remember that character from the Beverly Hillbillies, Jethro?
Jethro.
That's the second word. So you put those two together, you got Metro Jethro.
I think you call it the Metro Jethro moment.
Moment.
I like moment more than memo. Nobody writes memos.
Well, but memo goes with the O at the end of Jethro, Metro.
But you also use an M, so you're like Metro Jethro. It's the Metro Jethro moment.
Of the day, of the week.
A minute. Can you make it a minute long?
Yeah, but it's probably going to be longer than a minute at some point, So anyway, I was just playing around with some stories to practice, and I figured I could practice with you. What do you think?
Do you want me to be the DJ?
Yeah, like I call you up or whatever. And
are you gonna have music underneath this? Not for our podcast, but you're gonna.
Right.
I would definitely have some type of theme music underneath. It always makes stuff move quicker.
I've got a theme song already called Metro Jethro. It's like an anthem. It's like a very long song that describes what a Metro Jethro is and who is not and what is, all that stuff. So I could do a quick little, just put the chorus to that at the top. I'm a Metro Jethro, that whole thing. Have you heard that song?
I have not. So why don't you?
It's like, I'm a Metro Jethro. I put a rat tail in your cornrows. I got a pedicure from my wife's camel toe. It's all Metro Jethro type things.
So why don't we play? So here's what we'll do: is we'll play that song.
Okay.
And then out of that song, I'll be a DJ guy.
All right.
And then how are you gonna want to be set up?
Why don't you say we got John Reep on the phone, Metro, and he's so we got John Reep on the phone, and he's calling in to give us the Metro Jethro memo from Hollywood.
Okay.
Let's just try that. Metro Jethro memo from Hollywood.
Memo. I can't say Metro Jethro memo from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the thing? Speed Network.
Yeah.
Right.
Speed Network.
Speed
It's
Network.
called Are You Faster Than a Redneck?
Are you faster than redneck? Let's see if I can do this. Okay.
All right. Wish me luck, man. I
want to let you know I got no cards from writing my book that I really want to push because wouldn't it be awesome if you helped me be a bestseller, and I am wearing wristbands.
John, I love that.
Does the podcast? I'm curious to if you could tweet us and let me know that you could really tell that the wristbands helped.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I would like to know that if you're listening to this, leave some comments on iTunes and say, yeah, the wristbands were a game changer.
I have a question before we get started.
Okay.
Because you have radio DJ experience. And
sidekick experience.
But you've been in the room when moments like this has probably happened.
Okay.
Where you have someone who calls in with sort of a bit that they want to do. Now, should I leave room for you to chime in, or should I just barrel through all the stuff I've written?
You know what? I've heard it different ways when Hollywood people do it, where the morning show guy will set it up and it's already pre-taped. Like we do that. They would do that a lot with the weather. The weather guy doesn't come on every 15 minutes. He just wakes up at 4:30 a.m., records a bunch, and then they just play it. So they act like you're actually live. Like you act like there's some interaction. So that's on you.
In that tape for the DJs to laugh at a joke that you've written, even though you're not going to be in the room and you don't even know.
I've heard it both ways.
Funny.
I've heard it go either way, where you just do and people laugh over it, or you have to stay on point and keep it moving kind of fast. Because if
I'm gonna do this both ways. I mean, I'm gonna probably ask your question you're or on some of this, and then the other parts I'm just going to barrel through.
Okay, let me try it.
We'll just see how it works. We'll just
I got to see on my end here. This is I don't know if I'm going to do this right.
Right.
Okay. Okay, ready? Do I want to come on a song on this, or do I want to?
You're going to come out of the Metro Jethro song. I'm a Metro.
I got. Okay, so that song's going to play, and then bam.
I'm a Metro Jethro. I put a faux hawk on my scarecrow. I like Jim Beam in my espresso. I'm a Metro Jethro. I'll make a rat tail out of your cornrows. My cell phone cover is green camo. Cruising down the river, that's where I wanna be. 'Cause I can drink some wine and then take a pee. Well, I won't dress up if I'm going to the fair, but I might just put a little product in my hair. Well, I do some yoga on my bass boat. I eat tuna salad, but I hold the mayo. I put a gun rack on my little Geo. I learn how to play the electric banjo. I'm a Metro Jethro. I put a faux hawk on my scarecrow. I like Jim Beam in my espresso. I'm a Metro Jethro. I record NASCAR on my TiVo. I got a pedicure from my wife's camel toe. I'm a Metro Jethro. I'll drink a Diet Coke and eat fried dough. Wear designer jeans to a rodeo. I'm a Metro Jethro. I'll eat me a steak without potatoes. Chew tobacco while I drink Pino. That's wine, y'all. Yeah, I grew up next to a gated community. A farm.
If you have to be at work at 7 o'clock, you have just a couple more minutes. But like every Tuesday, on the phone with us right now is last comic standing winner, John Reep. John's going to be giving us his Metro Jethro memo from Hollywood. Already, I got to say, it's a little bit chunky. By the way, this Metro Jethro memo from Hollywood is sponsored by the Speed Network. Remember, when you watch the Speed Network, don't forget to set your DVRs for Are You Faster Than a Redneck? John, what do you got for us?
Yes, well, you almost got that right. I'll give you a 8 out of 10 on pronunciation. All right, let's get right to it. Super Bowl is around the corner, and did you hear about Ray Lewis? He has been accused of using deer antler spray. Have you heard this?
Yes, we have, Joe.
Okay, well, this, of course, is illegal, but only because it's not hunting season. You know? Thank you. The NFL doesn't care, but now he has to pay a huge fine to the Wildlife Gaming Commission. And what? By the way, what the hell is deer antler spray?
I do not know.
Well, I've never heard. I've looked it up. It's a drug made from deer antler velvet, which is the stuff that grows around the antlers to help the deer grow a gigantic hardened rack. That's right. Ray Lewis is trying to grow a huge rack. Well, if this is true, it proves something that I've always thought about Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is transgendered. There, I said it. Think about it. He wears mascara under his eyes. He's very emotional. He's always crying. He likes to dance, and now he's using deer antler spray. I think what's going to happen is he's going to retire from the NFL and go play for the lingerie league. What do you think about that? Okay, so that's one chunk I wrote. Now, how long is that?
I don't like. I would think for
probably like over a minute. Wasn't
now,
it?
keep in mind, I am not laughing, and there's not energy in the room, and I'm just bullshit clapping.
Yeah.
Just for timing purposes.
Which will happen.
I almost say, dude, like if we were to brainstorm this, man, you'd almost be out. Like, could you do it in 2 minutes? Could you do it in a minute?
Yeah. Well, I'd have to cut some of this down, I think, or I'd have to focus on just making.
Because here's what from just now, since we're brainstorming this on the Heffron and Reep podcast. A lot of times, if you have to play certain songs a minute, like whatever your morning show is, let's say we play 8 songs an hour, and if your morning show sucks, then they start adding more songs to that, right? Well, everybody on the clock gets behind. Like something just takes too long, and then the jocks will always look at the time and go, how many songs have we played this hour? And then the producer go, we've only played 7. So now you have to fit in 12 songs. So now you're just backed up, and you're like, what are we going to do? when I did radio, there was a song by Delamitri, one of my favorite bands. This song, not so much, but check out some old Delamitri stuff. They're an awesome band. But there was a song called "Roll to Me" by Delamitri. Do you know the song? Don't go no pretty baby. I would never
The right time to road. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that song was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So we would play that song once an hour, not because we liked the song, because we needed to catch up. You know what I mean? So you still are hitting your 8 songs an hour, but that's the song we would play if we were running behind. So you got to figure, if you keep this bit in that, minute or 2 minutes, they would play that bit like all the time, because that would almost be their catch-up bit. They're like, what are we going to do? You know what? Let's just play Reep's Metro Jethro.
Right. Well,
So that's all stuff for you just to think about.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to call in first and do it live with some DJs that will let me do it that way, to see how it goes. And if it goes well, then I can record it, and make it really tight and make it exactly 240 and record it and send it that way, just because it would be easier for me. And time-wise, it would be more efficient that way.
Could you do a Metro Jethro? God, I can't say that. I can't say that or jewelry.
It's sometimes like you put the Methro at the beginning instead of Metro, and then sometimes when you say Jethro, there's an S for some reason that just pops in there. I don't know where the S is coming from.
I don't know either.
All right.
But anyway, that segment, the Metro Jethro memo from Hollywood, that was sponsored by the Speed Network. Don't forget to watch on the Speed Network. Are You Faster Than a Redneck, hosted by the one and only John Reep, winner of season 14 of Last Comic Stand.
Close. On a side note, did you? Here's some other Metro Jethro news. This isn't like this is not a written thing, but it's very Metro Jethro. Did you hear about Jim Neighbors? You know Jim Neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Gomer Pyle from the Andy Griffith Show.
Right.
He just tied the knot at the ripe old age of 82. Did you hear about that?
No.
He married his best friend and partner of 38 years. 64-year-old guy, so he's robbing the cradle.
Wow.
Stan Cadwallader. I don't know how you pronounce that guy's name. But, yeah, but this is the first time. Everyone's always known that Jim Neighbors is most likely homosexual.
Right.
But he's never said it publicly. No one's ever really gave a crap to pry into his life and to find out. But at 82 years old, he decides to come out of the closet and get married in Seattle, Washington, where gay marriage is legal. So I find that interesting that he waited. I don't care about him being gay. I'm for gay rights. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Not my problem at all. But, it's funny to me that Jim Neighbors is gay. Like right now there's someone who's like going, what? Go away. I didn't know he was gay. He has such a manly voice.
Hey, could you do, you want to do the memo, but could you do the Metro Jethro moment instead of minute, where you just, as guys,
it's just one story.
You have one moment and you just kind of talk about that one moment. And then so it's all self-contained, where, because my question is, like, rednecky type guys, they kind of dress the same. Some of them wear T-shirts with no sleeves,
right,
and cut V-neck, V-necks on their T-shirts.
Yeah.
Okay, that is no different than a gay guy wearing a vest with no shirt. It's the same exact piece of clothing.
Right, it's the same amount of material,
and it's showing off the same amount. But why is that gay? And then that other way is rednecky. It's all the same. So you could just go almost like the Bud Light Real Men of Genius type thing. But you spend, here's to you, guy with flag on his car, but not like that. But you have more of a moment where you're shining on a thing. That's what we do here at Heffron and Reep.
I think I like that better than doing the Hollywood Minute.
We'll figure it out. Let's figure it out, man.
A Hollywood Minute type thing would have to be topical, and it would have to be
a lot of work.
Something in the news every week.
Yeah, you'd have to do that. And you don't want to do that much work, let's be honest.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't ever want to do work. That's why I'm a comedian.
Perfect. Everybody, we appreciate you listening to the Heffron and Reep podcast. If you haven't already, go to iTunes, do all that stuff. Go to check out our website. Click on whatever sponsors we have. Blah, 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 blah. More importantly, like to see you at our shows. Maybe secretly, maybe our thing is if you show up at our shows with wristbands and those Irish hats, we'll go, yeah, we can do that head nod. We're like, we know. We'll
give you a secret. We should have a secret handshake too that we invent.
We'll do it. This pot, and we're gonna sponsor a roller derby league, and if your kids have a like t-ball league, let's just really 2013's our year, dude.
Let's spend more money on this podcast. Yes.
Done. Everybody, you're listening to Heffron and Reep.
Go to heffronandreep.com for tour dates and great links. Hey, did you get that? It's heffronandreep.com. Go there now.